Thank you, Professor Shapira. Good morning to you all. Thank you for inviting me this morning, and thank you for initiating this very important conference. For more than 20 years, I've been a journalist. But the most fascinating and challenging part of being a journalist started in 1994, 17 years ago, when I started to work with the internet in its new phase. As we all know, the www was established in 1990. So it was 4 years old when I first started to work on it. As Professor Shapira said, I was the first internet correspondent in Israel. And as such, in 1995, I had a big scoop. The first anti-Semite internet website, stormfront.org, came online. Since then, we are talking about 16 years, there is an increase of anti-Semitism, hatred phenomena on the web. And what I'll do with you this morning is share with you what I'm doing for 16 years. I'm monitoring this aspect of the web. It's not a very pleasant one. Sometimes it's not very easy to see or to watch. I'd like to share with you some of it on the various platforms and the various tools of the internet. So let's go for it and start with a short clip from youtube.com. This clip comes up and comes up, goes down, comes up, goes down.
This man claims to be a survivor of the Treblinka extermination camp, and he made the drawings in this film clip. You will see from the drawings that the Nazis had allegedly built a huge killing factory. Treblinka is 60 kilometers northeast of Warsaw, and it is alleged that in 1942, 870,000 Jews from the ghettos in Lublin and Warsaw were brought by train to the camp. Then these people were herded into massive diesel gas chambers. Despite the fact it is almost impossible to kill people with diesel gas, it is alleged the people died within minutes. Afterwards, other prisoners were forced to bury the bodies in huge mass graves. To take so many bodies, these graves must have been many hundreds of square meters in size. As there were never any bodies found after the war, the story says the Nazis forced other prisoners to dig all these people up again and then burn them to ash on huge wooden pyres. In October 1999, a small group of Australian researchers travelled to the area in Poland where the Treblinka camp was supposedly situated, and they were looking for signs or proof of the mass graves. The graves should have been easy to find, as the whole camp is only 300 meters long by 200 meters wide. And even if they were stacked 6 deep, 870,000 bodies would take up more than the whole camp area. The team took ground penetration radar systems with them, machines that can pick up earth disturbances and objects as small as a knife down to 30 meters underground. The results can be seen immediately as they are projected as pictures onto a computer monitor. The team spent 3 weeks scanning the whole camp area, and the scans were saved onto a laptop computer. As well as scanning, the team took measurements to determine the age of the trees, and they also took earth core samples down to 6 meters, looking for signs of human and wooden ash. They also scanned and took control samples of the grounds outside of the camp area. After 3 weeks' work, the team had found nothing. No graves, no ash, no remains of buildings or fences.
Okay. They found nothing. In other words, nothing happened. Now this video, this clip, had been watched by many hundreds of thousands of people around the globe.
Microphone.
Let's... Okay now? No? Can you hear me now?
No.
Not now.
Okay, now? Yeah, fine. Thank you. I'll show another short clip.
Und so grüße ich euch denn, als meine alten, treuen, echtfaulen Ex-Männer.
Okay, we understand the principle. So let's begin. I'd like, maybe you can turn off the light a bit, because I'd like to draw your attention at first to some macro information about the internet. And this is important to understand vis-a-vis our topic. First of all, these days we are talking about 2 billion users worldwide. This is a dramatic increase. Just a few years ago, we were talking about small numbers. So this is a breakthrough. Since the social networks appearance, there is a dramatic increase. Now, the other dramatic phenomena, which we all have to remember, is that the internet that was born in the United States of America is now, the hegemony of the internet is now in the hands of China. Because during the 10 first years, 10, 15 first years, the American users were the majority. But China is taking over, and you see the data. It speaks for itself. And the increase of Chinese people on the web is getting more and more. Now, we don't know how many sites there are on the web. It's all statistics, but not accurate statistics, just evaluations. People are talking about 300 million sites, but not necessarily so. More accurate data is what's going on in Facebook. In Facebook, we are talking about 750 to 800 million people with a page on this phenomena. This is amazing. 107 trillion emails only in 2010. And one of the miracles of the internet is the Wikipedia. We are talking about 20 million Wikipedia items. Unbelievable. 2 billion people are watching YouTube videos every day. And we all have to remember, as I said before, that the www is only 21 years old, meaning the revolution is very young, the information revolution that we are living in. Now, to our topic. You have to remember that most of the extreme groups are using the internet worldwide. And when I say an extreme group, I mean on every political and every point of view, the internet is the perfect platform for people to say what they think and to let others know. Extreme groups can be a group of 10 people, 100 people. It can be a right-wing party. For example, in Europe, we see recently extreme right-wing parties. The most recent one that is very active is Laos, the extreme right party in Greece, which joined the temporary government. And the leader of this party is a Holocaust denier. Now, I think that the most important thing is the green bottom line. And this is the revolution. One person can do on the internet what states will not do. For example, if, say, Israel is running 50 official websites and Germany is running 100 official websites, the Hezbollah organization, and I monitored them in the late 90s, had numerous websites on various languages. And the impact for me was that this is a huge, unbelievably huge organization that can do a lot. So this factor, the power of the week, that's what I call the power of the week, is very, very significant to understand our topic today. One example is Radio Islam. Radio Islam is an internet site that is on the web for years and years and years, 15 different languages, and not necessarily an automatic translator from one language to the other. And when I investigated who is running Radio Islam, there is one person behind it, Ahmed Rami. One person. This is a very good example of why the internet is such a tool for the extremists. Now, these days we are talking about thousands of anti-Semitic websites and social network pages all over. Nobody can say an exact number. And if you will hear an exact number, take it with some salt, as we say, because nobody can measure it. While I'm speaking, something can emerge and something can come down. The first anti-Semitic website, as I said, appeared in 1995. And most of the digital hate sites are being operated from the United States of America, thanks to the First Amendment. And this is unbelievable because in Europe, it's outlawed, totally outlawed. When we are talking about the characterization of the anti-Semitism online, first of all, we are talking about Holocaust denial. Ladies and gentlemen, Holocaust denial is something very troubling, very annoying, and I'll tell you why. There is a new generation, the young people around the globe are surfing the web, and the web is a part of their body. If you will ask a kid about Facebook, he will definitely give you a very detailed answer, because Facebook is a part of his life. Not only Facebook, it's YouTube, it's Flickr, it's now it's Google Plus, etc., etc. Now there is an attempt to legitimize a public and academic discussion on whether or not the Holocaust of the Jewish people did happen. I'll show you in a few minutes some websites that are dealing with this specific question. Now for us, this is not a question. For us, this is horrible. But if a young kid in the United States is getting a job, a task from his teacher to write about the Jewish Holocaust, and he surfs the web, they are Googling. They are not going to the library, they are Googling. And they find an article of a professor in Illinois University, Arthur Batz is his name, and he is a Holocaust denier. Now this kid sees an article being written by a professor. He comes to his class and he says, "My dear teacher, what's going on here? Are you sure?" Because there are other people, academic, well-educated people, that say something else. So what's the obvious for us is not that obvious. And I think that the new generation in Israel, and I'm talking a lot to youngsters about this topic, and I'm telling them that within 20, 30, 40 years, the Holocaust survivors that are still living among us will no longer be with us. And they will face something which we cannot digest. Meaning they will be confronted with the question, or with the claim, or with being asked to prove. Now, the other issue is the neo-Nazi activities on the web, and I'll show you later on. The extreme Islam activities, the distribution of ideological materials, and the distribution of hatred against Jewish people and Israel alike. And I would add one more thing, the defacement of internet sites. Because I was talking about content, now I'm talking about technology. Defacement of an internet site, meaning hacking into a site, changing his homepage, and putting your own self homepage instead. It's a protest. Now, if say a Holocaust denier or somebody that hates Jews will hack 10,000 sites and put his message on it, it's a statement. Now you can say, well, big deal, we'll fix it. But ladies and gentlemen, if this site is being shown on the primetime TV news everywhere in the evening, they get the best PR possible. The protocols of the Elders of Zion is forbidden in many countries. Mein Kampf is forbidden in many countries. But on the web, you can find it almost in every language. And it's free of charge. Just pick it up. Google it yourself. That's what you'll find. So very many variations of the protocols. Unbelievable. Now, one of the most important things is the connectivity on the internet. When the agenda is Judaism and Israel, and there is a trend to combine them, you can see links between 5 major sectors that are dealing with this topic. I'm talking about the extreme right, the extreme left, I'm talking about anarchists, Holocaust denier, and extreme Islam. They're also targeting demographics, which means websites for women, Facebook pages for children, extreme right veterans. This is a game. You can find it on the web. It's only $14.88, not that expensive. You can see the rules of the game. Speaks for itself. Okay, one of the other issues that is being discussed on the web thoroughly is the number 6 million. Many, many people will say that this is a Jewish legend. Now, you can see, for example, this site. I don't think it no longer exists, but I don't know. I have an archive. I usually save this kind of stuff. And this is trying to show you in each and every camp, concentration camp, death camp, Auschwitz, Bergen-Belsen, Buchenwald, etc., the exact number of people that died there. Now go and argue. Once again, I'm talking about the new generation. Okay, since I don't have much time, I'd like to run a bit. Just show you a few samples of stuff that you can see on the web and not understand. For example, the number 88, 8th letter, H, Heil Hitler, or 311 is Ku Klux Klan, and so forth. They have their own signs, and you can find it everywhere. I'd like to point out maybe one issue, once again, because I want to show you a few internet sites, but I'd like to talk about the case of Yahoo France. I understand that later on today we'll hear about the Jewish organization that appealed to the court in Argentina, which was very nice and meaningful success. But in Yahoo France, some 10 years ago, Yahoo France had an auction of Nazi memorabilia, Nazi stuff, cans of Cyclone B, swastikas, the uniform, etc., etc. And the Jewish organizations in Paris appealed to court and asked the judge to remove this auction. What happened was that Yahoo, the management of Yahoo, was sitting in California. And they said, excuse me, with all due respect, Yahoo belongs to us. We decide. Now, the most significant thing is that it can be shut down in France, but if Yahoo California decides to continue, it opens its own server in California, and the auction continues. They didn't do it voluntarily. But this raises a question. There is a lack of international agreement to fight anti-Semitism, racism. And this is crucial. There is a lack of a task force that will monitor all around the globe such phenomena. And there is an urgent need for a global education act on this front. Now, I'd like to show you, since this is the first time that I'm lecturing about internet without an internet connectivity, I prepared some homework and a print screen. That's what I used. I Googled a few words. Jew. First. Now, first page. Second result, Jewwatch. Is somebody here familiar with the Jewwatch site? Okay, 1, 2. Jewwatch is an anti-Semitic, a pure anti-Semitic website. And this is the second result in Google. Now, I know the Jewish organizations fight. There have been, they were fighting, they are still fighting, but nothing happens. In Argentina, it did help, but not somewhere else. In Israel, this is the second result. When I say or write or want to find information about Jew slaughter, what do I find? Jew slaughter is a rock a group in the south of the United States. When I see such a thing, I can think about lots of problems with Google. When I write Nazi, the third outcome is the American Nazi Party. And when I write 6 million, did 6 million really die? Third on the first page. Now please bear in mind and please think about the young generation. The young pupils that for them the Inquisition in Spain and the Holocaust in the 40s are ancient history. Think about it. Okay. I spoke about Arthur Batz. This is the article that had been published on the web. And kids might believe that this is true. I'm running a bit faster. The Hitler Historical Museum. Did somebody visit the Hitler Historical Museum here? No, because it's on the web. You don't have to travel. You don't have to do anything. Just surf the web. This site does not exist anymore because of the activity of Jewish organization. Let's stop with the Auschwitz lies. This was a work camp. And you see a very pastoralic site that describes how Jews were working and being paid for the work. Or the fable of Anne Frank. Anne Frank is described, her family is described as a crime family. That's why they all have been killed. Now this is a site that raises the question of, was the Holocaust, did the Holocaust happen or not? The Institute for Historical Review, very academic. And people that are writing in this particular site are Holocaust deniers or people that are racists of all kinds and sorts. But the surfer all over the globe sees an academic debate. And another item, air photo evidence. Please note, it's been in 5 different languages. Now, there is an eyewitness, and there is an air photo show. The eyewitness claims alleged proof vents were used to drop the cyanide into the gas chambers. But we all know what Photoshop is and what we can do with Photoshop. So the air photo shows that nothing like that ever existed, ever happened. This site is taking an eyewitness vis-a-vis an air photo, and the picture is a proof. Here is JewWatch. Second on Google. Now, there was a fight against JewWatch, but what happens on the internet? It goes down for 2-3 months, and then it emerges, it comes again. The first, Stormfront.org, the first internet, anti-Semite internet site. David Duke and David Irving are 2 Holocaust deniers. Now, David Duke appears only a few days ago in a new YouTube clip and talking about the Wall Street, that Wall Street is being run by the Jews. And that's why we have a problem. David Duke is very significant on the web because each clip that he shows, hundreds of thousands of people are watching it. Okay. This shop was closed, but look how cheap the t-shirts are. The pig, the swine with the Magen David on it, only $14. It's only one example of many that are still being seen. I cannot, or I'll say it differently, I must talk about Iran. Only very few words. Iran is running internet sites of anti-Semitism conducted by the president, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. On 2006, there was a caricature exhibition called the Holocaust. And this is the poster of the competition. Caricaturists from all over the world participated, and everything was online. Everything. By the way, Iran is running internet sites, and it understands how significant it is to be on the web. So let's see some of the caricatures. This was the first prize. Second prize. Third prize. Okay. And I'd like to finish with YouTube. Tributes to Hitler is all over the social network sites. I can show you Facebook pages that are in favor of Nazism, against Israel, etc., etc. There is one page that says, nuke Israel. Now, tribute to Hitler on YouTube is being seen again and again. Once again, I'm sorry I had to print screen it for you, but just to get the idea. By the way, there are extreme groups like Combat 18 and other that are neo-Nazi, and they put all their material, all of it, on the web from each and every country in Europe, and there are branches all over Europe. This is David Duke, No War for Israel in Iran. Okay, here is a problem. This video is not available in your country, says YouTube, for me, in Israel, and I cannot see it. YouTube is censoring it because of my country's law. But it's a machine that is doing it. So some of the horrible stuff I can see easily, but some I cannot. Now, I cannot see it, but guys from all over the world can see it. Here is a problem. Professor Shapira, do I have a few more minutes?
Yeah, a few more.
Okay, thank you. Facebook. If somebody didn't hear about Facebook, please let us know. No to Holocaust denial laws is one thing. Now, I said nuke Israel. And to Jewish terrorism. This is one example, but there are others. For instance, in Yahoo, which I mentioned before, 10, 12 years ago, I saw a very significant group called Nuke Israel. Now, when I say significant, I say internet significant. I don't know how many people are standing behind it, but it shows like hundreds of thousands. They can lie, but that's how it shows. No More Israel on Facebook. And may I remind you, the founder of Facebook is Mark Zuckerberg. No Holocaust. It's another Holocaust. By the way, Israel is being accused of an Holocaust in the land of Palestine. And I don't want to go into politics, but the fact that Israel is being used as executing a Holocaust is using the word, the most painful word against Israel. Okay, we'll finish with Wikipedia. Did some of you wrote in Wikipedia? You know that everybody can write in Wikipedia. This is the miracle. It's an encyclopedia that everybody can do everything, not necessarily will stay online, but you can work on it. Now, the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is appearing in English totally different than in Hebrew. And everybody is putting his own flavor in it. including Holocaust denier and hate speech activists and so forth. Israel and the apartheid analogy is an item on the Wikipedia. Look, the liberation tigers of Tamil, they are being described here as a terrorist organization. Now, when we are talking about Hamas, it is not being described necessarily as a terrorist organization. Abdelaziz Rantisi, one of the heads of Hamas, a doctor, he was killed by the IDF after Sheikh Yassin. But it is not, there is no word in the beginning saying that he is a terrorist, a pure terrorist. Not so in Hebrew. David Irving, Holocaust denier. So it says in Hebrew, a writer, a British historian, and a Holocaust denier. But in English, it's a British writer specializing in the military history of World War II. I'm sure you've all heard about David Irving and Professor Deborah Lipstadt's trial years ago. Gaza Holocaust appears on the Wikipedia. Okay. So this was just a drop. As I said, not a very pleasant drop, but a drop for you to understand what we are facing, and especially what the young generation is facing. I think that kids in Israel, when they see it, they're surprised, because they never saw a graffiti saying bloody Jew, dirty Jew. They are living in the Jewish state. And elsewhere, this phenomena is increasing. Once again, I cannot give you specific statistics, but it's a definite increase. Now, if you have a question or two, I'll be glad to take it. Thank you very much.